Welcome to IFC's Chapter Connection and Conversation series, where I talk with one of Texas Christian University's 13 interfraternity chapters to learn a little bit more about them and our IFC community. My name is Fred Bossart, and I'm the Interfraternity Council VP of Recruitment. Joining me today is Beta Upsilon Chi, represented by the Recruitment Chair, Luke Paulus, and their President, Jacob James. So guys, can you please tell me a little bit more about yourselves, like your hometown, major, year in school, and why you picked TCU?
Sure thing. So I'm Jacob James. I'm the president of Beta Upsilon Chi here at TCU, the Beta chapter. My hometown's actually Fort Worth, Texas. I decided to get really far away from my family. That's a joke. You can laugh. I know I can't see you, but you can still laugh. My major is biology. I am a junior, and I chose TCU mainly because it is close to home, and I've got kind of a cool backstory. My mom played basketball here in the 1990s. And while that was that was 30 years ago, oh, she's old. I've just been around the campus the entire time, always coming to football games as a little kid, running around campus. Just kind of always been here, and I always felt the call to come to TCU because, I mean, it's amazing. I wouldn't rather be any other place.
Yeah, my name's Luke Paulus, and so I actually did go quite a distance away from home. I'm from a village of 2,000 people in Cold Grove, Ohio. It's actually the same area code as our boy Joe Burrow. They just got drafted. The 740 shirt that he wore, I already made an order, got 2 shirts with that on it. So from Ohio, I'm a supply chain major. I'm in the business school at TCU. And the reason I chose TCU is actually because I competed in rodeos for about 10 or 12 years. And one of the biggest events that we had every year was competing at Will Rogers Coliseum, which is right in Fort Worth, right down the street from TCU. And so we drove by whenever I was 13 years old, and we talked about how cool it would be if I was at a horse show and was going to school right down the street. And so it's kind of a dream that became a reality whenever I started applying to schools. And so here we are.
Awesome. Well, can you tell us a little bit more about why you picked your chapter?
Yeah, so coming onto campus, I, like probably a lot of y'all, I really wasn't expecting to rush a fraternity. I really didn't have just like a huge desire in it. Wasn't 100% sure if like that was the life that I wanted. But you come to TCU, and I mean, Greek life is really big on campus, and I was just kind of like looking around, like, hey, so like, what's up with this? And then I met the Bucks guys. The first recruitment event I can remember we did was like a backyard football game, and it was awesome. And there was just something different about these guys. Just whenever I walked in, and it's just a group of strange men that are like 3 to 4 years older than I am, and I have no idea, just a little scared freshman running around. I just felt so welcomed and like so loved by them, and I really didn't even know them. So I got to know a few of them on the outside, just outside of the chapter, and they were really awesome guys. They kind of brought me to some events. And there was just a feeling in the air for me that was really different, just like a different energy that I'd experienced with the Bucks guys compared to other fraternities. And I attribute that a lot to the fact that our brotherhood and our unity is founded on our Christian faith in Jesus. And to me, like that just tugged at, the strings of my heart of wanting a life that was centered on my faith, and how Bucks can push me towards that, and how I can be surrounded by just like genuinely good men, really smart men, just men with beautiful hearts, that want to see me be the best person that I can be, see me be the best man I can be, the best leader, best student. I mean, just pushing me towards excellence every day. And that's really what kind of sold it for me whenever I decided to become a member of this chapter.
I relate a lot to Jacob there whenever he said that he wasn't really planning on joining fraternity in college. And for my reason is because, I see on TV and what you see on the news and everything, kind of the horror stories that I heard from my brother about, kind of the dark sides of fraternities and, kind of where they can go. But then whenever I got to TCU, I met some of the guys in Beta Upsilon Chi, and I realized that they were just quality guys that I wanted to surround myself with. And so whenever I realized that, I was like, okay, this is a lot different than what I saw on TV, what I heard about. And so whenever I started getting to know them, once again, I just really was like, these are the guys that I want to spend college with. And so that's really why I chose Bucks.
Awesome. Well, can y'all tell us a fun or interesting fact about yourselves and about your chapter?
Yeah, so my fun and interesting fact actually kind of runs hand in hand with the fun fact about the chapter. So my fun fact is I've eaten Chick-fil-A on a Sunday. I've been served Chick-fil-A on a Sunday. For those of y'all that maybe aren't from the South or know what Chick-fil-A is, it's the best chicken restaurant in the history of the world, and they're closed on Sundays. But Bucks actually gave me the opportunity to be served by Chick-fil-A on a Sunday because we do a leadership retreat every year for the presidents, where we actually get to go to Chick-fil-A headquarters in Atlanta, Georgia, and we get to just spend time learning from them, learning their business model, learning how they lead, and of course, Chick-fil-A being a Christian organization, learning how they integrate faith into just how they do their day-to-days. So I was really, really fortunate to be elected president, to be able to go to that retreat. And it is over a weekend. So we were there Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And since Chick-fil-A is hosting us, we have to eat on that Sunday. So we actually got to have Chick-fil-A on a Sunday. And that's really cool. It's kind of a weird flex, but it's pretty awesome that Bucks got and also has those connections, especially with the huge conglomerate that Chick-fil-A is.
Wow, it's hard to really top that. Why this isn't a competition, because, how can you beat eating Chick-fil-A on a Sunday as a fun fact? That's pretty awesome. But my fun fact would probably just be, it's also pertains to Bucks as well. And it's whenever I was 15, I got braces by a guy that went to TCU Bucks, and he actually lives in Ashland, Kentucky. And of course, that's a pretty far ways away from Fort Worth. And I didn't even realize it until literally the last week before I was going to college. I ran into him, and I recognized him because he had done my braces whenever I was 15. And that was the first time I had seen him since that point. And he's like, "Hey, you're going to TCU." He's like, "You should meet up with these guys that are in Bucks, or they're in Beta Upsilon Chi, the fraternity there." And so then whenever I went to TCU, of course, I did that and reached out to those guys. But I thought that was cool, and it also really kind of highlights how cool it is being a part of a fraternity that's national. And so I believe we have 39 national chapters, and so that's pretty cool being a part of a fraternity that gives you those connections, and it's also really cool networking opportunities as well.
Sweet. Well, what is one piece of advice that y'all have for the potential new members going through the recruitment process?
For me, it would just be keep an open mind. You don't know what you don't know. So make sure to go around and visit all the guys. That's what I did my freshman year. I went around and I visited all the different chapters, and really just got a feel, because I didn't know what I didn't know. I didn't even know what I want or what I wanted back then. And I think another good piece of advice, I'll give you two because I can't stop talking, is have no expectations, because if you have expectations going into the process, you're going to be measuring if your expectations are met, exceeded, or not met. And while that's not necessarily a bad thing, I think it can lead you down some paths, because you don't know what you don't know. So going through, keeping an open mind, and not really working for any expectations, but just truly trying to find the best fit for yourself, the values of the organization, the guys that you vibe with or not. Just have an open mind and be open to new experiences, because that's kind of what college is all about.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. I would also agree that you got to go in with an open mind, because you don't really know the guys you're gonna meet or what you're gonna see. So you got to have an open mind about it. But also a piece of advice I would say is that I'm really happy that I picked the guys that I did to be around. And that's because I've always heard, whenever I was younger, my dad always told me to, whatever person I wanted to be in life, find people that are like that and stick around them. And ultimately you'll likely become that person that you want to be. And so whenever you're going through the recruitment process, just keep in mind the man that you want to be going through college, and then find those guys through the recruitment process and pick those guys that you want to be around you.
Awesome. Well, a little bit of a transition here. Where's the best on-campus study spot?
Well, I'm a big library guy. So my favorite on-campus study spot, Reese Jones Hall 202. It's a study room that you have to reserve. It's got a big window so you can see out and you can see all your friends that are walking by. It's got two walls that are just full of whiteboards you can write stuff on. I like to use whiteboards a lot. So that's probably my go-to, or really any room in the library that you can reserve. That's my place. Or for you science majors, 4th floor of Sid Richardson has, there's nobody ever up there, and you'll get to see all the chem professors walking by in and out of their organic and inorganic labs. So you get to chat them up a little bit, and it'll be fun, especially if you're studying chemistry up there. It's a good time.
I'm actually a complete opposite there. I've probably studied in the library a handful of times, and that's because the first couple of times I went there, I would forget my charger. Then I have to walk all the way back to my dorm and go there, and then I'd forget a snack. So I got to leave and then go get a snack, then come back. And so I just started just studying in my dorm. And so that's not advice for everybody, but that worked really good for me. But whenever finals comes around, I think one of the greatest hacks is reserving an actual lecture hall in Sid Richardson. That's just like you got this huge open space to yourself. You have a whole whiteboard, and so you can study by yourself. It's a pretty cool environment too. But with saying that, I'm giving you guys this life hack for TCU. Please don't use it for the next year while I'm a senior. Let me be able to reserve my lecture halls. Once I'm gone, then it's all yours.
Honestly,
Awesome.
that's facts. That's really that's
Awesome. Well, where's the best place to grab food on campus?
I mean, shoot, man, Chick-fil-A. I just went off on Chick-fil-A for the past 15 minutes. Like, that place is dope. I mean, come on. Eat more chicken. Let's do it. Eat more chicken.
Well, I almost think that this is a trick question because you got to add in what day of the week it is. Because if it's Tuesday, you got to go get the deal at Dutch's Burgers. And then later that night, you can probably go get a Pizookie at BJ's. If it's Wednesday, you got to go to Buff Bros. If it's Friday, a bunch of our boys, we always meet up at Chick-fil-A. Our fraternity guys, we eat at Chick-fil-A every Friday at noon. So honestly, it depends what day of the week it is. I'm kind of a cheap guy. I'm a couponer. So if I know there's a deal one day of the week, that's the place I'm going to be at.
Awesome. Well, what has been your favorite program hosted by your chapter?
I mean, hands down, the root beer kegger. For those of y'all that don't know, Bucks at TCU is known for putting on root beer keggers. So it is exactly what it sounds like. It's a kegger. The keg has root beer in it. We get it imported straight from Louisiana. It's the Abita company, one of the best. They use fresh spring water. I could just give you all the details about it. I know too much about root beer because of it. But basically, it's just your typical house party. We get a keg of root beer. We get music. We get lights. Sometimes we sing karaoke. We get some pong going, this, that, and the other. Water pong, I have to specify. And just all sorts of activities. I think this fall we had 200 to 300 people roll up in the house. I mean, it's packed. We're all sweaty. We're all dancing. It's just a whole lot of fun. You can cool off with a nice thing of cold root beer. And of course, we can't forget the root beer keg stands. Those are hilarious. Everyone loves them. We put them on our Snapchat story. And it really is just a great night of partying with your friends, engaging with people socially, singing, dancing, hanging out, making new friends, and just loving on people the way we're supposed to, and just having a good time.
Yep. Well, perfect. Thank you, Bucks, for speaking with me. All of your social media handles will be listed in the description below, and best of luck to y'all in recruitment. To all of our potential new members, do not forget to register for IFC recruitment via the link listed below. Registration opens June 1st and cost is $80 in the month of June. If anyone has questions, please email us at tcufcvprecruitment@gmail.com and check out our Instagram at tcu_ifc and our website greeks.tcu.edu for the most up-to-date information about IFC recruitment. Take care and stay safe.